Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This video is specifically for Eva so that she kind of has a story of the first 2 weeks of her life. So around this time, last year she was 2 weeks old, so we decided we would just go ahead and load this up for her. I'm sure that she'll hear this story about a bazillion times, but we're going to make it into a video, just in case.
Alright.
So, I remember that I went into labor Wednesday night at around like 11:40.
What would this have been? May 23rd?
Third? Yeah, May 23rd. Because then it was the 24th, and it was all day the 24th. So around 11:40, I literally thought that I had wet my pants in the middle of the night. Yep, that happened. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go back to sleep. Then it happened again. It was just like literally thought I peed in my pants twice, and then I was like, oh great, like this is embarrassing. And then I went to the toilet, and then I looked down, and there was some stuff in there that wasn't pee. So I just sat there and tried to get this one up several times. And I'm like freaking out in the bathroom by my lonesome. And he won't get up.
If you say so. I was asleep.
I tried to wake him up like 4 or 5 times. And so I'm just there because, you know, I can't make it back to the bed to lay down. Nothing's happening, not even contracting, so I was very confused as to what was happening. And I continued to try to get Ryan to wake up. And then finally I did get him to wake up once. Kind of wake up. He woke up. I can't remember if it was before or after I texted your mom to get you up. But one of those times he wakes up and he walks to the bathroom, and I'm like, hey, take a look at all this in the toilet. Tell me what you think. And what did you do?
No comment.
What did you do?
No comment. You can
What
tell
did
it.
you do?
No, you can tell it.
No,
Nope.
you tell it.
Nope. You can tell it.
He walks into the bathroom, goes pee in the toilet that I'm telling him to look in, flushes the toilet, and then goes back into bed. This was, mind you, at like 12:30. Anyways, he jumps back into bed, and then I finally yell at him because, you know, I'm like freaking out still.
I thought I went to sleep.
You did go back to sleep. And
How
then
long
I
was that?
woke you up
I don't know
again.
timelines. You'll have to give.
I don't know the timelines. They're just all a blur. All I know is about 1:30 we left to go to the hospital. But anyways, I got him up.
1:30 a.m.
And then I called the doc. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of obvious
1 a.m.
because
We
we're
were
talking about
dead
sleeping,
in the night.
but
And then I finally called the on-call doctor, and he was like, well, is this your first baby? And I was like, yes. And he goes, well, you should just go to the hospital just to get checked. And I was just like, this is going to be so embarrassing because they're just going to tell me that I peed on myself. And so we packed all the bags and called my nanny and papa, and his mom already knew, obviously, because I called her. And I called Nanny and Papa, and I think David texted David while we were on our way to the hospital. We had to go drive all the way to St. Mary's in the middle of the night, so that was fun. Ryan was really irritated because we were passing one hospital to get to another. And then I also texted Kayla, my cousin, because her birthday is on the 24th. And I thought maybe that Eva would be born sometime during the day of the 24th. It didn't happen. Nope. And then, so we got to the hospital. They were like, oh, yep, it's definitely your water has broken, and we have to admit you now because once your water is broken. Oh boy. Once your water has broken, they keep you in the hospital, and so they kept monitoring me for how long? Like 5 hours? Something ridiculous. I was like moving around, and they were asking me.
I was tired.
They were asking me if I was contracting, and I wasn't really contracting. And at one point, the doctor came in here. She was like, "Oh, these are pre-contractions. Like, these are baby contractions. You'll know it when it's the real deal." And fast forward 6 hours or something like that, and they started me on Pitocin. And so those birth classes that you go to, the one that I went to at least, said to wait to get the epidural, right? The epidural. Until you're 6 centimeters dilated. So I was on the path and determined to wait until I was 6 centimeters dilated. Note to self. Next one we have, get the epidural. Except, I don't know if it actually worked on me.
I'm pretty sure
It
you were much
did.
calmer after.
It did, but it didn't work all the way.
You were much calmer. It
Okay.
definitely worked.
Okay.
It worked.
But it was very painful without the epidural. I think I was like 12 hours in when I finally got the epidural.
Again, I
on
don't know
like
timelines.
a very pretty good level of Pitocin, and Ryan's all over there like, "Oh, it's not that bad. I could do it without the epidural." You know those things that they put on your stomach
Mhm.
with the electroshock.
Mhm.
You need one of those. He goes, "Zzz." Somebody have one we can borrow? We could use one before the next one. No?
No, okay.
Oh, we're gonna do it then.
But what if I do it? Then you have to have the next one actually. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
But anyways, so I got on the epidural. They moved me from this position to this position. And even on the epidural, they say that some people can go to sleep. This is why I don't think it was fully effective. Because I could not fall asleep. So.
Which meant no one could fall asleep.
Yes. I was very determined. I also was like pulling Ryan's hair and all that when he was trying to fall asleep. I was like going like this. And I was very snippy before the epidural. Probably because somebody brought in food and wasn't allowed to have food. So there was that. On the epidural, I don't know if it was the epidural. When they upped the epidural, I think, I got sick from the anesthesia. And very shaky. And I was on the epidural and Pitocin for 27 minus 12, what is that?
15.
15 hours. So, all of the 24th, I was just very much in pain. And they figured out what was happening is I was having like 3 contractions in a row and then nothing for 10 minutes. And Eva, it's because you have a big head. Or I have a small pelvis. One of the two. Could have been both. But you just weren't coming out. I blame this one. Because the same thing happened to his mom, I think. So, the Henrys are big babies. apparently. And then they said that it'd been over 24 hours since my water had broken, so they were concerned about a risk of infection, so they recommended a C-section. Mostly because I was on the highest level of Pitocin for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, and nothing was happening. They kept checking me and I was only 5 or 6 centimeters dilated. And whoa, I cannot imagine me trying to get through 27 hours of labor without the epidural, because 6 centimeters, I never reached it. Never happened. So they took me back, and
Around what?
I don't remember.
1 a.m.? 2 a.m.?
Something like that.
On the 25th.
It was on the 25th in
Somewhere
the morning.
in the early morning.
Yeah, but they gave me the extra shot of the epidural and then wheeled me back and told Ryan that they would come get me, or get him, in about 10 minutes?
10 to 15.
10 to 15 minutes. So I'm like puking my guts out, get into the the surgery room or whatever, and this is not how how I wanted my birth story to go, but she's here, she's lovely, and she was worth it. But as I was puking, they were like getting everything ready. Anesthetist was there with me, and I don't think the anesthesiologist was there, but they had to calm back down because they're like, can you feel this? And I was like, yes, I can feel it. Meanwhile, I'm still puking and I'm like sleep deprived. I haven't slept in like almost 48 hours because I might have had like an hour of sleep before my water broke the 23rd. So I'm like delirious and I'm tired and I'm weak, and they're telling me if I can feel this, and I'm like freaking out thinking like a horror movie type situation's about to happen and they're going to do things and I'm going to feel it all, and whew, made me anxious. And I could feel it, so I told them and they're like, okay. And they waited 10 minutes and tried again. And I was like, what are you doing? I can feel that. So they called the anesthesiologist back in, and they were basically trying to give me a spinal block to make sure that everything from here down was numb because the epidural didn't work. So in this, I don't wake up. The nurses are like, okay, turn on your side. So I get turned on my side. And for the epidural, I told them I had scoliosis, so they were able to figure that out pretty fast. But for the spinal block, I was not able to, and apparently I'm just short and my spine is just doesn't have a lot of room in it. I don't know. But they had a hard time finding a good spot for it. And they kept poking me and like doing spinal taps in my spine to find a good spot, and they were like, okay, we might have to put her under, and that had me freaking out. And I basically said, where's Ryan? And they were like, he's not in here, sweetie. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyways. And then, what else? They're like, oh, well, he wants you to sit up. And I'm like, no, I do not have the energy to sit up. Like, no. So they had a team of nurses sit me up because I'm pretty numb still. You know, my body has only been on Pitocin and contracting for 20-something hours. And they finally find a good spot and then lay me down, and I guess that's when they got you.
I don't know. It was like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
35 minutes, and they didn't tell them anything.
Well, they finally came to us after about 25-ish, somewhere between 27:30 and said it was going to be like another 10 minutes and told us they were having trouble getting everything set up.
Basically, were having trouble getting me set up for surgery.
Well, yeah, that's what they told us. And they said that they might have to put you under and then I wouldn't be allowed to come back.
Were you freaking out?
A little bit.
Nanny and Papa were freaking out.
My stomach was starting to hurt, but I had the gown on already, so I wasn't really sure what I was going to do if I had to go.
Number 2?
Yes.
Anyway, so they figured it out, and like instead of getting numb from here down, I was numb from here down. Pretty traumatic, not gonna lie. And they kind of prepped me like it's probably gonna feel like you can't breathe, but you're breathing, and it really does feel like you can't breathe and you're not breathing. Apparently you are. I thought I was having a panic attack, and like I thought I was under for like hours, like with the spinal block, but apparently it wasn't that long.
Probably almost an hour in total.
Anyways, that's nice. I kept asking the nurse, what did I keep asking the nurse? Are they done yet?
Yes. Something like that, or is she here yet?
Yeah. And then she was out. Eva made her appearance into the world, and the first thing I saw were her feet, and I was like, oh my goodness, she has some long feet. And then she was crying, and then I was crying, and then I looked back at Ryan, and his glasses were foggy, and I was like, are you crying?
No, it was really humid.
He was crying.
It was really humid.
He was very crying. Very much crying.
It was humid.
He was bawling. You could see tears streaming down his face.
It was humid.
You loved her.
Yes, but it was humid. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Oh my goodness. But anyways, then Ryan was like, oh, you want to see the placenta? No, you do not want to see the placenta.
It was cool.
It's pretty disgusting.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No. Meanwhile, he thought he was going to pass out through all of this.
It was hot in there.
It was freezing.
I was hot.
Probably because you were nervous.
Maybe.
I don't know. I thought it was freezing.
Yeah, probably because you were so numb because you couldn't feel anything and they had like all your parts out.
Wow, that's nice. I can see your parts.
You could. They had to move all your stuff out of the way.
Anyways, not the birth story I wanted, and hopefully the next one's head won't be so big. And I will ask to have something done, like my membrane stripped or something, because whoa, I was very large.
You were very large?
I was very large.
I didn't feel like you were that big.
Oh, I was big.
Okay. You say so.
It was huge.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then we spent the next couple of days at the hospital. So Wednesday, Thursday. She was born on a Friday. So we came home on Sunday, right? But at the hospital, they wouldn't let us. So the hospital that we went to does rooming in, so that he's in the room with you. And we were both exhausted by this point. It had been 48 hours. And I like the rooming in, but part of being at the hospital is hopefully getting some sleep before you have to go home and be with the baby 100% of the time. We basically begged the nurses to give us a break and take her for her first bath. And we got maybe a couple hours of sleep, like good sleep.
It felt like 30 minutes.
But Eva...
I mean, I love the room and in part, but
yeah.
We basically had to force the nurses to take her.
For a couple hours so we could sleep. Because, I mean, the first 24 hours she was pretty sleepy because of everything that happened. Apparently the first 24 hours is always kind of calm. But after that,
It wasn't that much though. Pretty sleepy. It was like, she'd still only sleep like 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah. And then she would cluster feed for like 5 hours. And the nurses were like, I don't know, I would have gone crazy if I was you. And I was probably going crazy, not gonna lie. I was trying to get my supply in. Note to self, when you have a C-section, your milk supply has a delayed coming in because you don't get all the hormones that flood when you have a regular birth. So there's that. All the nurses thought my milk was going to come in a lot sooner because of the way that she was latching and all this and blah blah blah. It didn't happen. But thank you to the nurse who said maybe give her a full bottle. I didn't listen to her, but next time I might, just so that we could have gotten some rest, because the first 2 weeks were
What did we give her a full bottle of?
formula,
Oh yeah, that's right. You
like supplement the
you were
bottle
real.
of formula.
You were real. You were real. I don't know.
Well, I was paranoid
Yeah.
because I didn't
Apprehensive.
Yeah,
You were real apprehensive to give her formula.
because I was afraid that it would impact my supply. Got help in the first 2 weeks from a lactation support group. That was the best thing that I could have ever done. Eva lost a lot of weight, and when we went to the doctor, we ended up having to supplement with formula because she had lost so much weight. We went back the next day, and she had gained like 6 ounces. 6
Something like that.
ounces in like a day, so that was a lot. I felt really bad as a mom after that first doctor's visit. I cried. Well, I cried a lot during the first couple weeks. Because, no one can prepare you for those first 2 weeks. Did anybody prepare you? Everybody prepared me for what it could have been like for the birth, but nobody told me about the weeks after the birth of your child, when you're so sleep deprived and you're questioning everything that you're doing as a parent because you're new, first of all, and you're sleep deprived, and I don't know, anxious. And a lot of people focus on the baby, and we gotta tell our moms that they're doing a good job and offer breaks and offer to let them take a nap, which for me it was hard to take a nap because every little move that Eva made when she was a baby, I would wake up. Literally.
So what do you want to talk about to wrap it all up?
I don't know.
Because you're at 25 minutes.
Am I?
So, in conclusion,
What do you want to do?
I don't know. That's it. That's
it.
all, folks.
That's the first 2 weeks. All the blur. But I wouldn't change anything because we have little Miss Eva, and now she is a year and 2 weeks old. So if you're watching this in the future, it was all worth it.
And we love you.
Yes. I was about to say that. Why are you staring at me like that? Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. What? You want to say it?
No?
Okay, so this video is specifically for Eva.
Do you want to start over?
Yeah.
Start it.